Gallows. So this is a movie I just got done watching. I didn't take any notes while watching this movie, so everything I'm going to say in this review, it's all going to be off the top of my head. I just got done watching it, so like all the information it should be fresh in my head. So I should be able to give you guys a competent review. Um, so and I watched this movie in high definition in Blu-ray quality. And is that will be the first thing I'll bring up in this review is I'll talk about high definition and how this movie looked in Blu-ray. So, okay, here's the thing. So, the Gallows, this wouldn't be like my go-to high definition movie. Like I've seen like Blu-ray movies I've seen Blu-ray movies like that have better picture quality and better audio quality than this, but I feel like as far as a found footage movie goes, like the movie, like it had good picture quality and the audio was like decent, but it wasn't anything like amazing. But I feel like as far as what you would expect from a high definition movie, I feel like the movie does do a good job somewhat, but like it's not a movie like I would say like go out and buy like immediately. Like if it's on cheap for like maybe $2-3 at like a $2 shop, and so it's in like a JB Hi-Fi bin or whatever, or a movie bin. I'd like pick it up and all that, but if it's higher than $5, like it's not a movie that I would like run out and buy. I think when I purchased it, I think it was like maybe $4 or $5. So like it wasn't bad. I bought it on Blu-ray maybe like a year ago, maybe more, but yeah, anyways, but yeah, I've seen Blu-ray movies with better like picture quality and better audio quality. Like I recently watched Cabin Fever 2013 or 2015, like the Cabin Fever remake, which was executive produced by Eli Roth, who directed the original Cabin Fever. I recently watched that in Blu-ray, and the remake, it looks really damn good in Blu-ray. Like as far as picture quality, the movie looks stunning, and the audio was like really good as well. So yeah, like it looks fine on Blu-ray. So now that's out of the way, let's talk about like how was this movie, because I have not reviewed this movie before, and I do plan to do a review on Act Two. So like I thought like why not make this like a two-part video, like have the first part where I'm reviewing the first Gallows, and then I'll have a second part of this video, have a second review coming out where I'm reviewing the Gallows Act Two, which I've seen both of these movies before, so yeah, I think I've seen the Gallows. Like I remember the Gallows more than the Gallows Act Two. I remember like the Gallows Act Two. It was professionally shot. Like it has a very different style as far as cinematography and how it's shot. Because this first one, it's all shot in kind of like POV and like Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch type style. So like found footage. Um, and that way it has this believability to it that you're kind of seeing like these characters, which that is an issue and a positive, which I will talk about that. But then Act Two, on the other hand, like it's shot more professionally. It's shot like a Hollywood produced horror film. And I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, like I'll talk about that when I get to that review. But yeah, the Gallows. So this is a movie that, as I said before, like when I watched it for the first time, I really liked this movie, and The Gallows is one of those movies that's very diverse in the horror community. Like you either like it or you dislike it. I don't think there's anyone that hates it. I think it's a very divided movie in the horror community and with the critics. Um, so, and I'm someone that like the first time I watched it, I did not get the hate. Like I thought this was a pretty solid found footage movie, and there was lots of good suspense. There were some like on the edge of your seat moments, and like I did not get the hate the first time, but now that I've seen it a couple of times, I can kind of see where the hate is coming from. But like I still don't agree with it. I don't think this movie is as bad as critics or the horror community is saying. But like I don't think it's like a perfect movie. And this is from the producers from Blumhouse. It says on the cover here, from Blumhouse, the producer of Paranormal Activity and Insidious. So Jason Blum produced this. So this is a Blumhouse Productions film. So yeah, where do I start with this? So I'll start off by talking about the positives. The biggest positive that I can give to the Gallows is the sound design. And this is something that is so important in a horror movie, and it's one of those must things that you have to do in a horror movie, and I think they really utilize the sound really well in this movie, and they use sound as a device to build the suspense in this movie. Like there's a scene when the characters when they hear footsteps up in the attic, and the footsteps are kind of getting closer, and you can hear it, and it's like for those types of scenes, like they really utilize sound really well in multiple sequences and scenes throughout this movie. And just as far as sound, like the movie, it sounds really really creepy, because this is like true horror to me, is like when you hear something but you don't actually see the events unfold, but you see the aftermath of some of the kills, because this movie is only M, so you wouldn't expect like some over elaborate kill, like some really like gory gruesome kills, and all the kills like are off screen. Like you do see glimpses of some of them happening, but for the most part, all of the kills, it's all done through sound. Like you hear the characters screaming, or you hear them like choking to death, and it's like and the imagination of what is going on inside the other room is way more creepier than actually seeing it, because you actually like your imagination just goes wild, and that's something I feel like horror does not get right enough, and I feel like it's something the Gallows does really well. Moving on to my second positive, which is Charlie. He has a really interesting role that he plays in this movie. He's also a really interesting character in this movie. So I'll talk about like which parts of Charlie I found fascinating. And this will kind of go back to my first point where I was talking about sound design, which is you don't see Charlie for a large majority of this movie. You don't see him like maybe until the final 15 minutes of this movie, and he's more there as a presence tormenting this group of characters. Like you see him drag people through the hallways, you hear his footsteps, but you don't see him. But there's but he's always there. He's always there watching and tormenting, and like from the very second that these characters entered the school, there's sounds in the distance, and you just know that it's Charlie pulling the strings. And as the movie unfolds, like those events get worse and worse and worse. And like there's a point in this movie where the movie it stops and just goes for it. Like it stops the whole it stops the build up, and everything just goes completely like wild. And Charlie, he has a supernatural presence, I guess, to say in this movie, because like very early on, once these characters do enter the school, they go to the back door, which that was kind of like the back door from the drama room. Like that was, I guess, that was the build up to this movie. Like one of the characters, Ryan, I think his name was, like he found out. Like I don't remember the characters' names. I only remember his character's name because they shouted his character's name multiple times, but I think it was Ryan the one holding the camera the entire time. But yeah, it's like he finds the back door, which is kind of like off its hinges. It's kind of broken down. It doesn't lock, and so Ryan and a group of his buddies, like they want to go into the school and smash all these set props and basically just ruin the drama performance for everyone. So like they can't do it tomorrow because the character's acting like he can't remember his lines that well, which like that would not surprise me. And I believe me, I've done that, and it is hard to memorize like every single one of your lines, especially if it's a long script. Like it is very hard to memorize like all your lines. So I mean, like I see where he's coming from, but like I'm sure like beforehand I would have had at least 2 months or at least a month to practice this. Um, but yeah, like I see where the characters coming from. Like everybody else seems to remember like their roles and seems to remember their roles and all their lines pretty well. But then his character is just isn't isn't sure on it all yet, and he doesn't like remember all his lines well, and he's messing up the timing. And it's like the final day before the actual performance, and the what is it? And the school has been building up this drama performance as any school does. Like when there's like a big performance happening, like they try to get as many people in. They try to get the word out to as many people, because you see all these flyers around the school. They have all these flyers around the school to tell students that this is happening on this date, like at this time, which the performance, I think it was at 7 p.m. Um, so yeah, but yeah, like moving on from that, just talking more about Charlie. I'm kind of going everywhere because there is a lot to say about this movie, but Charlie in particular, like I really like that. I really like, not many horror movies. Like a lot of horror movies, just kind of like show the figure or show the monster or slash, and most movies like they just kind of show the horror villain on like up front. Like there's no suspense in building to their look like this movie does. Like for the entire movie, like I said, you don't see Charlie, and you see him like right at the end of the movie, and up until then, you get little glimpses at what he might look like, and you see like silhouettes and shadows of him, but you never get a clear look at him, which I felt like for this movie it worked really well, and because like not enough movies, because like once you see him, there's no surprise there. There's no intrigue from the audience. It just kind of showed, and then all the imagination and all the suspense, it's just kind of gone. But yeah, I feel like that was something that the Gallows did really well. Like that is something that we are definitely, I feel like we are getting better at with today's entertainment, with movies like Hereditary that use actual horror to scare viewers. And so yeah, I feel like we are on the right tracks today when it does come to horror. But like a lot of your typical like standard like horror movies, it's more just kind of showing it, and there's no build up to it, like build up to their look. And when you actually see the character, when you actually see Charlie in his full form, when you actually get a good look at him, like there's that satisfaction, I guess you would put it. So yeah, that was something I felt like this movie did really well, with kind of keeping Charlie as a silhouette, as a shadow, as a presence to the movie. An atmosphere is another positive, and that's just kind of, I guess, kind of wraps up my other 2 points. Is that there is a great feeling of atmosphere in this movie, because you always, as I kind of said with my last point, you always get that feeling that Charlie is watching them and he's tormenting them whenever he gets the chance, from just like simple sounds of like a door slamming, and like there's a really smart scene like very early on, when they get into the school, before they ruin the stage, the Gallows stage show. There's a scene when one of the characters goes to, I guess, one of their drama buddies, um, lockers, and he smashes it and he opens it, and he plays this prank on him, because there was a scene early on where like he threw a football and he embarrassed him in front of everyone, and then there's this, I guess, back and forth. There's this back and forth, I guess, bullying between them, or just all playing pranks on each other. And so, you would expect that in a high school environment. So yeah, I understand where the movie's coming from, and and you see when he goes to close the locker, there's a locker about two rows up, like the very top row from memory, and it closes at the same time as the locker down the bottom, and there's no one like actually opening or closing, and it's Charlie opening it, and it's a great scene. Like as far as timing wise, like the timing of the scene is excellent. Like as far as the closing the lockers at the same time, it's on point really. So that was something that I really like. I really admire like those little details in horror movies. So, and I thought that was something that I really liked as far as timing wise. I thought it was really damn good. So yeah. What else did I like about it? Um, what else? Like as far as like the intensity, like the last 20 minutes, when the characters are actually running away from Charlie, and they encounter this photo, and then they see all these dead bodies above them. Like that whole sequence, like from where it began, to the very end of that sequence, it is very intense. It is like, I wouldn't say scary. Like I don't know how to put it. Like it wasn't really scary, but it was just like it was really exciting, and it was really exciting and intense, because up until then there was a lot of like suspense, and there was, I guess, a lot of a build up to a lot of these scares, and also just talking about the scares. Um, the scares, like there are definitely some fake out jump scares, which like the ones portrayed in this movie, especially in the first act, like there's a scene when like a guy is in his underwear and he just jumps in front of the camera. It's just like, oh, spooky. What? What? You call that scary? Just jump in front of the camera. I can do that right now, and it would have the same impact. Just add a loud noise, and bam, it's um, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, like there are those typical fake out jump scares, but when the movie actually uses like real jump scares to scare the viewer, it is effective. Like some of them, not all, but some for sure. So yeah, yeah, like the scares in this aren't too bad. So um, and now, as far as my mixed elements on the movie, the biggest mixed element of this movie is the characters. Like, they aren't the worst, but at the end of the day, they are very forgettable, because you don't remember any of the characters' names. Like, I remember one of the characters' names is, I think, Catherine. Another character's name is Ryan. But then, like, every other character in the movie is just flat out forgettable. And the only reason why I remember Catherine and Ryan, and why I remember their names, is because the surviving characters spend large sequences shouting their names. Ryan, Ryan, where are you? Catherine, Catherine, where are you? Come out, where are you? that is not that is not memorable. That's just shouting their names. Like there's no character there, you know. So, but yeah, as far as they are not the worst, um, like there is characterization given to some of them, like to our two main, I guess, drama characters who are performing in the Gallows stage show. Um, it's like there's definitely some personality and there's some characterization. Like you know that these two actors like they want to be actors when they grow up, and they're still in the very like learning stages like of their career. Like these characters, like they want to do something with drama after school, and so they're like um, they're helping out in whatever way they can. Like there's characters that you see that are working like behind the scenes and on stage, and I'm like as far as our main characters who are the ones on stage and acting these characters, like you can tell that one of them is more serious about it than the other. The other, I think Ryan, I think his name was, is like the one that's just kind of he's always getting distracting. He's always I cannot speak. He's always getting distracted by his friend with the camera. I hope I'm like remembering all these characters' names, but yeah, man, like they're forgettable. So but yeah, like he's always being distracted. Like there's a scene when he's sitting in the hallway and he's like memorizing his lines, and then his friend comes up with the camera saying, "Oh, you like this chick?" Even on the other hand, like this character, he would have plenty of time to memorize his lines. Like I suppose it depends how much time you had practicing. I'm sure, like especially for like a player like this, like I'm sure you would have had at least a month to practice. I'm sure you would have had at least maybe 2 months warning. You would have had at least a few weeks to practice your lines before you actually start practicing it. And I'm sure like for these types of things, like you would always have to audition. Like that's how it's always been. So I'm just also thinking like, how did this guy like get into it? Like he's not a bad actor. I won't say that, but like he just like he stands out as far as everybody else who remembers their lines, who remembers their role. He just kind of he doesn't remember his timing for certain scenes and all that. So yeah, so like that's what I mean. It's like there's two different, I guess, personalities. There's one, like there's our main chick, who's like who really cares about acting and wants to do something with this after school, and then we have the other character we have the male character on the other hand who doesn't exactly feel that passionate. He's just kind of like stressed out with all the pressure because like because the stage show is on tomorrow, but then like trashing the set, going to school that night and trashing it, like why would you do that? Like I mean, at least have respect for it. But anyways, I mean, I suppose we wouldn't have a movie, so like I'm not going to criticize that, but it is something that I feel like who like who would do that? Like, there's other ways of avoiding it. Like, just say you're sick or something. Like, you don't need to like trash it. I feel like that's being a bit over dramatic, but sure. Like we wouldn't have the gallows. So, and I suppose it is all fictional, but like if you are looking at this from a realistic lens, which is fair because this is a found footage movie, um, it's like it is like I see his reasoning, but yeah, like there's other ways of going about a situation like this. Now entering into my negatives, following on from what I've just said, the characters' choices are so dumb in this movie, but at the same time, it's hard to criticize that because these characters, they are teenagers. They're still in school. Like, I don't like to get my reviews scientific. But if you like, a teenager's brain isn't fully developed until I think it's like the age of 23, I believe. Um, it's so like it kind of makes sense, and plus in a situation like this, like your brain would not be functioning properly. You would just be you'll just be going with your gut on every choice. And if there was a noise coming in one direction, you would run the opposite direction. Like that's just the way your brain works. And so I think a lot of the dumb choices, but then even seeing it on screen, it's just like it's hard to watch some of them. Like especially like their choices in the last 15 to 20 minutes of this movie. Maybe 30. I'll say that. 30 minutes seems fair. It's like their choices are very like idiotic. Like there's a scene when one of their friends has just like from closing this door, like the Charlie has just shut this door, and as a result of that, one of their friends has died. And then a few minutes after that, I think one of the characters told one of them, like I hate referring to them as characters, but I don't remember any of their names. It's yeah, but yeah, they tell one of their friends to stay here, keep the door open, and then as soon as she hears a noise, she runs and completely lets go of the door, and it's and like in these same events kind of happened, and just like that same kind of scenario happens 3 times within the last act of this movie, and I'm just like, how dumb can it be? If it happened the first time and it resulted in one of the characters' deaths, why wouldn't you just stay with the door? Like that may have been your only way, like I don't know, to survive, but it's so dumb to me. Why you would leave it when you know that when you know Charlie has the ability to do it? Like why would you do it? Like it makes no sense. It makes no sense. I mean, especially when that happens like 3 times, it gets really competitive and gets really old after the first time. Like here's the thing, like you can't be dumb enough to the circumstances or the what is it or the result that happened with the door shutting the first time and your friend dying. The second time, wouldn't you try to avoid that happening again? Like, surely you can't be that dumb. And especially now that you know that all the doors, like when they shut, like Charlie has the ability, I guess, to lock them. So, and like there's many scenes. There's a scene like very early on in the movie where they go around to every door and every door is locked. So doesn't wouldn't that give the cue that maybe there's like something? But then especially after I guess after the kill scene, like you would know to leave the door open, like even like get a chair or a brick or whatever, but no, just let it go, let the door shut. And I mean, not all the characters' choices are dumb. I may be being a bit dramatic when I say all the characters' choices are dumb. Since they are teenagers, I can see some of this stuff happening. But then it's just towards the end when they want everything to go wrong does go wrong. So and it's just like they like it's just some of these scenarios that become very and the circum and the like in the result of some of these circumstances that happen, it just gets very competitive and it's just like what why would you do that? It just keeps you questioning. But yeah, not all. Like some of them, I can see myself like going around to like every door checking if any of them are open. Like I can see myself doing that. Like that's a pretty normal reaction. I feel like the humans would have in a situation like that. So yeah, and just I guess this is I guess kind of a negative but a positive as well. So when your best scene in the movie is on your front cover, you know that's never a good thing, because this was honestly the best scene in the movie where you see Charlie like coming out of the darkness, and you just surfing in your chair, and it's like it's giving you kind of goosebumps. Like that like this was genuinely a creepy scene in the movie. It's just like the way that Charlie, he slowly comes out of the darkness, and you can see him, but he's still like in the darkness, and you can kind of clear out what it is. But then as he comes closer, like you see more. Oh, generally like that was a generally a chilling scene. Um, but like then like when I looked at the cover, I was like, oh, okay, so I know what's going to happen. That Charlie's going to come out because he's literally right there. So you know that Charlie is going to show up. So it kind of just so some of the suspense in that scene, it doesn't work all that well because like you know Charlie is going to show up because they give it away on the front cover of the Blu-ray. Um, and I'm not sure if it's in the trailer or not, but if it is, um, like why when it's like the best scene in the movie? I don't know why, like why you would even show it. I feel like this scene it would have been more effective if they had I don't know like a different cover for the Blu-ray, and you went into the movie, and then that scene just popped up, and then you just see Cho just coming out of the darkness. Like that would have been so much more terrifying, not knowing than knowing when that scene comes on, like you're going to see Charlie. There's no suspense there because you're expecting it. There's a creepy scene. It's just that scene would have been better if they didn't show it on the front cover. But yeah, that's my only negative with that scene. But like otherwise, it is a really effective scene. It is one of the highlight moments like in the movie for sure. And when you see Charlie is another like really big moment in the movie. So in the end, this is still a enjoyable movie. It's not a movie like I would watch. Like I would watch on repeat. It's not a movie like when I watch it the first time. Like I'm going to be like, oh man, I have to watch that a second time. It was that damn good. I just have to watch it again and again and again. Like it's not that kind of movie. It doesn't have that rewatchability to it as as other horror movies do to me. But it's a movie that I would maybe put in maybe every couple months, maybe every like 4 months, I may like put it in. This isn't a bad movie, and I feel like the criticism while some of it is definitely well earned, I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. But yeah, like sure, like if you don't like this movie, I respect your opinion. We are each free to opinion. So yeah, if you don't like it, you know what, that is all good. That is your judgment. Like if you don't enjoy the movie, that is perfectly fine. But yeah, as for where I stand on the Gallows, this is still a fun movie. It's not a perfect like masterpiece by any means, and it's nowhere near like as effective as Paranormal Activity or Blair Witch. But this is definitely one of the better found footage movies for sure. I don't feel like this movie deserves the criticism that it gets. I do feel I have this feeling that some of it is definitely well earned, but I don't think it's nowhere near as bad as what critics are saying. But yeah, if you don't like this movie, like that is all good. That is your opinion. We each are free to opinion. That is your judgment, and I respect your opinion. So yeah, if you don't like it, you're like yeah, that is all good. But yeah, it's like I feel like I feel like it's just, yeah, we each have different taste in movies. So yeah, some will like it more than others, and and here's the thing, like that's any movie in general. Like it's always going to have a very diverse of I guess fan base or reaction to it. Like we all go into movies like expecting to see this, and this. Like when we go to like a Star Wars movie, like we expect like like big set pieces, big action, big blah blah blah, or like all of that. So yeah, we all go into like different movies expecting to see different things, and then some of that does live up to what people are expecting, and some of it disappoints. what others were expecting. So, anyways, but yeah, if you're one of the people who watching this review that don't like this movie, yeah, that is all good. So, anyways, yeah, that is my review for The Gallows. I'm going to try and have a review for The Gallows Act 2 hopefully out in the next couple of days. I'm looking forward to watching The Gallows Act 2 because I've only seen that once. And I remember it was a fairly decent one. So yeah, let's see if my reaction to The Gallows Act 2 does hold up. But anyways, I want to know what you guys think of The Gallows. So have you seen The Gallows? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you think it was meh? Or did you really not like it? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening or night, wherever you guys are. And I'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye.